Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Episode 39 deals with Rasa Krida, the most misunderstood, misinterpreted story of Lord Krishna by several human beings. Acharyal therefore speaks on this subject and gives what is the correct interpretation of Rasa Krida. The gopis of Vrindavan were very pious and very devoted towards Krishna. They were so fond of him that each one of them wanted to marry Krishna. They performed the Katyayani Puja with utmost fervor. Doing that is bathing in the Yamuna during the month of Margazhi very early. Make an idol out of sand of Katyayani. Perform puja. Offer Nevedyam. Take that as a prasadam and remain so serene. And this went on for one long month. God thought it's time for him to please the gopis. At this juncture, Acharyal puts the first interpretative note for human beings to understand the story correctly. Acharyal says, a grain which is roasted can never be used as a seed because it is incapable of sprouting. A roasted seed cannot sprout. What do we mean by sprouting? One which cannot sprout cannot generate desires. When the gopis dedicated themselves with utmost devotion to the Lord, they have become roasted seeds, incapable of generating lustful thoughts or lustful desires. It is nothing but you can go to God only when you have pure love. It was in that state God decided to join 16,000 gopis and dance with them. This is the first frame which one should perceive in mind. 2. Look at this. God is able to dance with 16,000 women, and the message that gets conveyed in the process is, let there be innumerable devotees across the universe. Wherever you are, whoever you may be, if you are able to be pious, devoted, selfless love given to God, God will be able to do anything with you one-on-one. God can do this one-on-one simultaneously with plenty. He has no constraints of time. He has no constraints for space. He has no constraints at all. He can reach to millions of people simultaneously. Therefore, the Lord being in the company of 16,000 is only to interpret, to mean that God can be one-on-one simultaneously with all the human beings who are devoted to Him. Third, as they started dancing with the Lord, when the gopis generated a pride out of that, they felt somewhere that they are beautiful. They felt somewhere they could draw the attention of the Lord. What happened to the gopis? God excluded Himself from all the gopis except one, because she did not have this ego. But what happened to her? As she started dancing with the Lord alone, somewhere she also became prideful. What happened? God disappeared from her to instantaneously. So, Acharyal conveys the following concepts very clearly for us. 1. The beginning. When the gopis dedicated their devotion to the Lord, they became roasted seeds. Roasted seeds are incapable of sprouting desires. When they can't generate desires, could they have generated lustful thoughts? God, who is omnipresent and omniscient, can we be attributing motives of lust to God? And to say this dance emanates out of lustful feelings, it's an absolute misunderstanding on it. Because pure devotion, sans any feelings including lust, alone will take us to God. Show an example where people with lust had been in the company of God. Not possible. So, this is the first misconception. Now, the second misconception is, which the message which is driven through the Rasa Krida dances. When the gopis were dancing and when they nursed that they are beautiful or the Lord is attracted towards them, ego gets quelled instantaneously. God disappears when human being has egoistic feeling. When the lone gopi was dancing and she was feeling prideful, God disappeared. So pride ensures disappearance of God. And all these three, no desires, ego and pride, a mind sans these three will remain eternally at the lotus feet of the Lord. And more importantly, dancing with 16,000 gopis at a time, God conveys the message, I can be one-on-one with millions of people at a time. God has that because our God is omnipresent. So if you understand the story from this perspective, there is nothing to mistake from Rasa Krida. And finally, when this is also a much talked or hyped story that God watched women bathing without clothes. Acharyal says that's again a misunderstanding. When women went to bathe without adorning clothes on their body, it's a mistake they commit. It's sinful to bathe without clothes. And therefore, God wanted to communicate this message to the world. It robbed the clothes to ensure they realize their mistake, make amends, and do not commit it again. That's the theme arising out of that episode. Shri Guru.